you ever been watching a dope show? Plot solid, characters complex, then boom. Two dudes start kissing, no setup, no story arc, no relevance. And if you so much as blink sideways at it, you're a bigot. This ain't about being LGBTQ+, this is about forced messaging. It's not representation when it's inserted like a checkbox. It's not inclusion when it's used as armor for bad writing. Because if you criticize it, you're phobic. That's not storytelling, that's emotional blackmail. And it's everywhere, in kids' shows, cartoons, teen dramas, even the damn commercials. The machine doesn't care about art, it cares about shaping minds. So who runs it? Follow the Money, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. They own Disney, Netflix, Warner, Kurulun, Paramount, Hulu, FX, ESPN. And they don't care about your values, they care about control. They fund both sides of every social war. They censor real creators, they boost degeneracy. They use sex, identity, trauma, and inclusion as marketing tools. Not because they care, but because it sells confusion and weakens resistance. That's how you control a population, through fear, distraction, and programming. When we talk about the corruption of Hollywood, we need to understand what it really is and where it came from. Hollywood didn't just pop out of nowhere. It was built, engineered from the ground up to shape perception. What started as a small cluster of independent filmmakers fleeing the East Coast in the early 1900s, trying to escape Thomas Edison's patent stranglehold on filmmaking, eventually became the most powerful cultural force in the world. They found refuge in sunny California, where laws were looser, land was cheaper, and the weather allowed for year-round filming. But don't let the palm trees and backlots fool you. What they created wasn't just a new business, it was an empire of illusion. As the film industry grew, it drew in money, politicians, and shady investors. The early studio heads weren't just creatives, they were businessmen, many with ties to the underworld or secretive backdoor financiers. People like Harry Cohn, Louis B. Mayer, and Jack Warner weren't selling entertainment, they were selling control of the narrative, control over what people saw, what they believed, what they desired, and what they idolized. By the 1920s and 30s, Hollywood had already become a propaganda machine, used during wartime to boost morale, during peace to distract from political failures, and always to push subtle or blatant agendas. Think about it, this was the only industry in the world that could package dreams, project them on a screen, and make billions doing it. And as time went on, it got darker. Behind the glamour and the red carpets were casting couches, systemic abuse, secret cult-like rituals, and deals made in shadows. From the silent era to the golden age of cinema to the streaming wars of today, Hollywood has always been run by a select few who knew the truth. If you can influence the screen, you can influence the soul of a nation. What started as a camera became a weapon. What started as art became a tool. And what started as light, Hollywood lights, became the mask hiding some of the most wicked darkness you can imagine. And this isn't conspiracy, it's pattern recognition. This isn't about hating movies, it's about exposing the machine behind the curtain, because today, Hollywood doesn't just entertain, it programs, it conditions, it tempts, it molds hearts and minds to fit a culture of consumption, confusion, and compromise. And worst of all, we're the ones fueling it. Now that we've broken down how Hollywood was never just about movies, let's get into the part they swear is crazy talk, the conspiracy theories, the ones they love to laugh off in interviews, shut down in mainstream media, and censor off social platforms. But let's be honest, some of these theories ain't even theories anymore, they're confessions hiding in plain sight. Let's start with the most well-known one. The Epstein Black Book and elite pedophilia rings. We now know Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just some random billionaire, he was a gatekeeper, a puppet master tied to some of the world's most powerful men and women, royalty, politicians, CEOs, A-list celebrities. His private island was allegedly a playground for the elite, where cameras were hidden, kids were trafficked, and secrets were stored like currency. People laughed when survivors first spoke up, said it was too far-fetched, but now we have flight logs, court documents, a dead man in a high-security jail cell with no working cameras, and 2 sleeping guards. The dots aren't just connecting, they're screaming. And you really think the entertainment industry, the same one that sexualizes children and normalizes degeneracy, wasn't involved? You think it's a coincidence so many powerful actors, producers, and media moguls had ties to Epstein, yet somehow they all stayed untouched? The casting couch, MK Ultra, and Hollywood programming. Another so-called theory is that many actors and artists are mentally broken on purpose. That's not just trauma, it's conditioning. People have talked for years about Project MKUltra, the CIA's mind control experiments that were real and well documented, and how the entertainment industry became a petri dish for testing control. Actors randomly glitching on live TV, Artists talking about split personalities, alter egos, handlers, wild public breakdowns that always get spun as drug problems or mental illness but follow eerie patterns. We laugh at it, meme it. But deep down, we know something ain't right. Amari 3. Occult symbolism in music videos and film. Why do so many celebrities flash the same hand signs? Why the obsession with eyes, pyramids, checkerboard floors, and inverted crosses? These aren't just aesthetics, they're signals. They're part of a code, a language, a religion of power that's baked into Hollywood's DNA. Artists like Kanye have talked about it, so have Cat Williams, Dave Chappelle, and others, only to be blackballed, labeled crazy, or mysteriously taken out of the spotlight. What if these aren't coincidences? What if all the symbolism, all the breakdowns, all the whisperings about selling your soul are actually just the cost of staying in the machine? 4. Diddy, Michael Rubin, and the celebrity parties nobody talks about. Let's not act brand new. Lately, more and more people have started speaking out about celebrity parties that go from exclusive to straight demonic. Allegations of cameras in every room, drugs laced, women and men being coerced, people being recorded and blackmailed, secret contracts, gatekeeping favors. What are you willing to do to make it? Diddy's name ain't the first, and it won't be the last. People are finally asking, why do billionaires who have access to everything always seem to turn to the most depraved things? Answer, because power without morality doesn't lead to peace, it leads to perversion. These theories don't exist in a vacuum. They're part of the systemic rot underneath Hollywood's foundation. Because again, this was never just an industry, it was a machine built to entertain you while extracting your soul. Think about it. Every ad, show, song, or influencer pushing lust, confusion, greed, and pride, that's not just artistic freedom. The constant desensitization to violence, gender distortion, over-sexualization of children, that's not random. The silence when celebrities overdose, go missing, or have heart attacks at 30, not random. Hollywood is not just where stars are made, it's where morals are broken, people are reshaped, and darkness wears designer. And you, the viewer, the consumer, are the fuel. Every click, every stream, every moment you idolize the broken and mock the sacred, you feed the machine. You think what's happening now is new. Let me take you back. Marilyn and nostalgic theme songs. Section 2. Present day is just the pattern. 3:30 to 6. Fast forward to now. Diddy, Nickelodeon, Epstein, Cassie. People acting shocked, like this just popped out of nowhere. But this is the machine doing what it's always done. 1. Elevate the abuser. 2. Silence the victims. 3. Profit off both. 4. And when it all leaks, sacrifice one. Let the public feast, then move on like nothing happened. Section 3. Cassie, compliance in the cycle, 6 to 8:30. Cassie ain't new to this either. She was with Diddy for years. Lavish lifestyle, power couple energy, music videos, red carpets, then silence, then lawsuits, and now she's being praised for bravery. Listen, she might be a victim, but let's not act like she wasn't also participating in the silence until it was convenient to speak. That's the thing about the machine, it buys your silence, and if you stay quiet long enough, it'll let you walk away with hush money, a rebrand, or a redemption arc. But never forget, it doesn't change, it just recycles faces. Say something real and watch how fast the machine moves. Russell Brand gone, Andrew Tate banned, silenced. Dave Chappelle tried to cancel him for telling the truth in a Netflix special they paid for. Meanwhile, Nickelodeon can slide foot fetishes into kid shows for 15 years. And nobody says a thing. Ask yourself why that is, because the machine doesn't care about truth, it punishes it. The machine thrives on your obedience, on your silence, so when you speak up, when you question, you're dangerous. Hollywood has always been this way, but now the mask is slipping and we're seeing it for what it is. God's a grooming ground, a propaganda pipeline, a corrupt cathedral built on the backs of children, artists, and silence. And the only reason it keeps running because we keep watching every stream, every click, every time we say it's just entertainment. Nah, it's programming. But we can opt out, you can create, you can speak up, and you can stop giving your soul to a system that feeds on it. Let's be honest about something that nobody wants to say out loud. It's not a coincidence that we live in a society obsessed with sex, dysfunction, and degeneracy. It's not an accident that half the trending songs are about cheating, choking, or throwing ass. You think that just happened? It was funded, promoted, marketed, normalized, and ask yourself this. What kind of people benefit from a population that's obsessed with sex but numb to truth? Look at the billionaires who run this world. Look at Epstein. The man had everything. Money, power, status, and even a private island. He could have had any woman, any luxury, any life. But what did he choose? To prey on kids. That's not about access, that's not about scarcity, that's about spiritual rot. And what's worse, he wasn't alone. Epstein was part of a circle. The same kind of circle that flies private to Dubai for parties where young girls are flown in as literal property. The same kind of circles that have billionaires in underground clubs, defiling models, influencers, and trafficked women. You ever hear the rumors about what really happens in Dubai? Let's stop acting like it's just vacations and Ferraris. There are girls on TikTok right now with NDAs and trauma you couldn't imagine, getting flown out for 5 figures to perform things they never talk about again. And who's behind it? The exact same class of folks who shape your favorite shows. You think it's a coincidence that the media these people control pushes hypersexuality and dysfunction to the masses? Of course not. What you see in music, film, reality TV, it's not just entertainment, it's projection. It's the elite vomiting their sickness into culture and packaging it as freedom, and you wonder why the youth are lost. You wonder why every show is either violent, sexual, or both, because the machine is just a mirror, reflecting the demons of the ones who built it. Lately, the headlines have been wild. Elon Musk and Donald Trump beefing on social media, with Elon throwing shots, even implying Trump was involved with Epstein's infamous island. But here's the question nobody's asking: why now? Why throw that card down right now when the walls are starting to close in on the elite? Simple. When the ship starts sinking, the rats start pointing fingers. Let's be clear, Trump has been connected to Epstein. That's public record. There are photos, witness statements, even testimonies that suggest Trump was around Epstein and Ghislaine during the height of their trafficking days. But let's not act like Elon's hands are clean either. He literally had dinner with Ghislaine Maxwell. There's a photo. He tried to brush it off like she photobombed him, but come on, Ghislaine was not some random party crasher. She was an international trafficker with ties to the highest levels of power, and Elon was already on the rise. It's not hard to imagine these billionaires knowing exactly who's who in the rooms they walk into. So when Elon accuses Trump of being part of Epstein's circle, it might not be a lie, but it smells a lot like damage control, like he's trying to shift the spotlight off himself by turning the public against someone else who was part of the same dark circles. That's not being a whistleblower, that's being a snitch. And not even the good kind, not the kind that exposes the system for justice. This is the kind of snitch that sings because his own deal didn't go through or because the other guy didn't back him when he needed political support. It's mafia rules. They're only loyal when it's convenient. That's how you know this whole system is collapsing. These people were friends, donors, co-conspirators, power brokers. Now they're airing each other out in public like jealous exes. Why? Because when the devil's house starts burning, even his favorite children try to flee first. Let me keep it real with y'all for a second. The machine, it's not just Hollywood, it's not just studios or billion-dollar film execs. It's in your pocket, it's in your feeds, it's in your scroll reflex. I spent weeks, literal weeks, unfollowing every big booty model on the gram, every explore page thirst trap, every thirst bait algorithm push. Guess what? Still shows up. I don't follow them, but the machine knows I used to. It doesn't care what you say you want. It feeds you what will keep you scrolling, what will keep you weak, what will keep you hooked. TikTok, same. I open the app and within seconds I'm hit with chaos. Fights, booty, softcore porn disguised as dancing, baddies yelling, screaming, throwing hands, going viral. You ever stop and ask, who's funding this? You think baddies got on TV because it was deep? Nah, somebody somewhere saw a profit in promoting toxicity, trauma, and dysfunction, especially from black women. These shows don't get made by accident. They get greenlit, budgeted, distributed on purpose. And that's when you realize this ain't random. This is intentional programming. The machine is not just Hollywood. It's Instagram, TikTok, X. Every platform, every scroll, every For You page is a mirror of what they want you to become. This is the Matrix. And the scariest part is most people don't even want to unplug it. The real problem is they never got right with God before success found them. So when the spotlight came, it didn't purify them. It just exposed what was already there. Think about it. If you've got a bad habit now, like blowing $50 a week on 8s of weed, or occasionally dropping a few hundred on an escort, when that big money comes in, that same habit can easily become $5,000 a weekend, $10,000 a night. Before long, you're spending millions trying to fill a void that was never about money to begin with. The sickness was always there. It's just that now you can finally afford to feed it without limits. And that's when it devours you.